Alright, before I get started with today's video, a few of you asked me why Harbortown wasn't on the car. And usually when you work out sponsorships, you renegotiate for the following year. Tom helped me out tremendously in 2017, and he was on the car, and we did a lot of content together. We helped grow his following and made you guys aware of who he was and what his shop did. And 2018, we're still trying to figure out if we're gonna do something together. He's really busy. He's a one-man show. He does everything himself, and you know, he might just not have the time to you know, keep up with the car. We're gonna be on the road a lot. He can't be away from work. It is what it is. And I love Tom, and he's been fantastic. And he might be on the car. He's just not on that rendering. So, in case you're wondering, that's why. Good afternoon, everybody. I got a little package today from our friends over at Holly. Some of the stuff that I'd ordered was on back order, and it's just been slowly coming in and then being sent out. So that's what was that's what the holdup was. So I've gotten 90% of the things that I ordered. We're still missing a couple things. Not the end of the world. It's enough parts to do some work on the car. And right now I'm taking Raven to get some lunch and some coffee. Orion's gonna be working on his S14 today, so I'm gonna help him out with that. My Band-Aid just touched his hand. Oh. Back at the shop, here's what came in. Our Holly high ram 105mm throttle body intake manifold. Here's the old Sniper, and it's a little bit taller, but what's important is these runners, which will help with power gains, torque gains, and yeah, I've heard good things. Hopefully some more mid-range power. And with that, we've got a new map sensor, a third map sensor, some gaskets, some hardware, and some new fuel rails. I will be utilizing my old fuel rails still, and those will be my spares, so they'll go on the spare box. I'm going to go ahead and throw the gasket on this and kind of put it together and get it ready to go in the car. And we'll have to reroute all these wires, and I think it's going to look really freaking good. But Ryan wasn't so goddamn loud over there.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm setting up.
I'm exposing you right now. Look at his new box. What's in it?
Secret.
That's a secret?
This is the secret, dude.
Oh my god, it's a quick change.
I wish, dude.
So I thought I was going to be able to use the fuel rails from my old intake as spares, but they're actually different, and yeah, they're different. So I won't be able to use these, which means that I need to swap out the plug for the front of one side and the fuel pressure regulator gauge, and swap those over to the new fuel rails. Not a big deal. The way they mount on the manifold is different also. I've got my O-ring laid out in here for the top cover, and I'm going through the hardware right now, making sure that I have everything. Nothing was, you know, sometimes shit's missing on when you order stuff, so I'm double checking everything. And Holly's never let me down before, so go over everything and figure out how I'm going to lay everything out. It also comes with the NPT plugs. You see that and that, which is for the back of the manifold where your map sensor would go. So if you're not going to utilize one of these ports, fuel rail number 1 is on. It's got a little spacer back there, bolts to the side of the manifold. There's 2 different spots on it, so you can run the Bosch style EV1 or the like older style bigger injector. So I got the fuel rails on, and it works pretty good, because if you look right here where I have the spacer that mounts to the manifold, there's 2 different holes that you can run this bolt into. One is for like an EV1 style Bosch injector, and the other is for the older style injector like I have. Yeah, went together real good, sealed nice. Next thing to do is get this top cover on, and then we'll start worrying about these back here, which one of them is going to be for our map sensor, and then one is going to be for the vacuum for the fuel pressure regulator. All right, so now it's all put together. We got our fuel rails on both sides. Had to actually take those off to get the bolts tight that hold the top cover on the manifold. I'm hoping my gasket that it supplies, you have to basically make it fit. It's cut to length, and I'm hoping that it's sealed good. I guess we'll find out if we have a vacuum leak when this thing goes back together. But it looks really dope. The next thing I'm going to do is right here, there's 2 tapped holes that are for the, here it is right here. This holds your throttle cable. Where does this go? Like that. And so I'm going to throw the bolts in there and it'll be ready for my cable. Before you snug this guy down, you can actually slide it back and forth to set where you want the cable, the hanger to be. This is just the cable hanger. And I'll leave mine kind of loose for now until I get it on the car and set the cable. So next, it supplies you with these studs. We're going to come over here and we're going to thread them into the head. And basically like head studs, actually. So we'll put those in. And then you want to get them snug. And then as you tighten up the nut on top, it'll slide through here. It'll torque it all down and make sure that you get a nice good seal. So I'll throw these in real fast and then throw the gaskets on the manifold. She's on. What do you guys think? Not as flashy as the Sniper, but I guarantee you guys, this is going to put out more horsepower, better power band. This is my favorite manifold that Holley makes, so I'm happy, and that's really what matters to my car. But I hope you guys enjoy it too, nonetheless. So now it's time to start running wires. All right, so I've got everything plugged in, minus the intake air temp, and that's it, yeah. So a few things that I have to do still is run the nut and washer along the studs to actually bolt the manifold down. It's sitting on the studs right now, so it's in place. My cable is too short, so I'm going to have to either modify the bracket that comes supplied with the Holley manifold, or do something to the actual cable. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. Got to hook up the fuel lines to the back of the rail, and then get a new map sensor and run the vacuum line here that goes to the back of the manifold, and that should do it. This is a 105 millimeter intake manifold, so it uses a 105 millimeter throttle body. 105 for my engine is a little too big, so what we've done is just put the 95 on the 105 manifold, which is completely fine. Looks very, very, very dope. If you notice here, we don't have much room for an intake tube. So I'm probably just going to run a small filter off the throttle body. It'll get real close to this cap here, but it'll work. So now that we got it all tightened down, she's solid. The one thing that kind of sucks about these really tall intake manifolds, it's a lot harder to hide wires. There's not really much you can do about it. But I got my fuel lines back on. And here's the other thing. Okay, so my regulator used to be here. So I moved it closer, which then made my fuel lines not the right length. But luckily these are the PTFE lines from Earl's, and they're super flexible. It doesn't give it any kinks, and that's all pressurized. So we have no problems there. This side also, all good. We got our throttle cable, ran. I had to modify this bracket. Basically, it's usually held with 2 bolts. This 1 bolt, I've tightened it down as tight as I could get it, and that allowed the throttle body to close all the way with the cable that I have. So I think it'll be fine. Cam sensor, I had to make a harness for it, and it's kind of a ghetto harness, so that's why it's out, and I'm going to redo it and make it look nice. And everything else is plugged in and good. I gotta fucking secure that down somewhere so it doesn't look so bad. I see a lot of people in the comments say like, oh, he just finished the car and he's already taken it all back apart. This is how you keep a car reliable. There's a lot of things that were, I would almost dare say, rushed because we wanted to do something and get some events done in 2017 that now I've had the time to go back and fix and improve, and it's really going to change the way the car drives, the performance of the car, and the longevity of the car. So I can almost assure that the people that are saying that aren't necessarily like drivers. They probably don't have a car and don't really understand how this works. And that's okay. That's why I'm here to make these videos and to help educate you on the sense that this stuff takes time. It's important for upkeep on the car. And if you want to have a good looking, well-performing car all year, there's certain things that you want to do in the off season. Now, Florida doesn't really have an off season, and we kind of just drive all the time. But I think this shit's important, and the people that are constantly having reliable cars, especially when you're running a car that's not just a stock car, you know, with like some coilovers and a stock engine, there's a lot more that you have to do to keep it running. And Orion's going through that right now. He's taking all the right precautions with his new setup. You can see it over there. To make sure that when it goes in the car, he has a reliable setup. So that's why we do this. Even when I'm not in California, Dan's still here in spirit.
What's up?
When I work on my car, Dan just hangs out on FaceTime and we talk about drifting, and I do this and he does stuff over there.
Yeah, I just missed Caleb, so I'm like, okay, let me just sit and watch.
And he doesn't, yeah. So, hey, everybody go to Dan's YouTube channel and tell him to buy an iPhone so that he doesn't have to use Renee's phone anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody, I'm not even kidding. Go to his channel and tell him to buy an iPhone ASAP. So I patched up my harness. I went and checked the mail. I got a Flipsco beanie in the mail and a new jacket. Thank you to the boys at Flipsco. Follow them on Instagram. I'll put it right here. This is as far as I'm going to get tonight until I get a new map sensor, a filter. Got to put this harness back in. It's all patched up. I ran out of wire, but it's better than it was. It just doesn't look super nice. But I'm going to put loom over it, and you're never going to know, except for you guys. So, not the end of the world, but I'm really, really happy with this. Big shout out to Holly. I will put their website in the description, and if you guys want to pick up anything, everything on this car pretty much is Holly, from the intake, fuel rails, MSD coil packs, Holly valve covers, Holly front accessory kit, which is very, very nice, and will make your life really easy. And then obviously my engine management is Holly. It's down there. Holly everything. Do yourself a favor. Get some Holly shit. Put it on your V8. It'll make everything better. I'll be out here all day tomorrow, putting in work, trying to get everything finished and ready. There's a lot to do. It's a lot closer now than it was, but yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.